Welcome to the History Explorers Club. Today we will take a journey through one of the most significant periods of the 20th century, the Cold War. This video tells a story of ideological conflict, political tension, and global uncertainty that defined an era. As the dust settled after World War II, the world found itself divided not just by geographical boundaries, but by ideological lines. On one side, the Western democracies led by the United States, championing capitalism and individual freedoms. On the other, the Eastern Bloc, under the influence of the Soviet Union, promoting communism and collective ideals. The tensions between these two superpowers laid the foundation for what would become known as the Cold War, a war that was fought not on the battlefield, but through political maneuvering, espionage, and proxy conflicts across the globe. Join me as we embark on a journey to unravel the complexities of this tumultuous period, exploring its causes, key events, and lasting impact on the world stage. The origins of the Cold War can be traced back to the aftermath of World War II, a conflict that left the world reeling from devastation and seeking to rebuild amidst the rubble. At conferences like Yalta and Potsdam, the victorious Allied powers grappled with the daunting task of shaping the future of Europe and the world. However, beneath the veneer of unity, tensions simmered as ideological differences between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union began to surface. While the Allies shared a common goal in defeating Nazi Germany, their visions for the post-war world diverged significantly. The United States and Great Britain championed principles of democracy, free markets, and self-determination, while the Soviet Union sought to expand its sphere of influence and promote communism in Eastern Europe. The division of Germany into East and West, symbolized by the Iron Curtain, marked the beginning of a new era of geopolitical rivalry. With the Soviet Union consolidating control over Eastern Europe and the Western Allies forming alliances like NATO, the stage was set for a prolonged standoff between East and West. The Cold War was punctuated by a series of key events and flashpoints that brought the world to the brink of nuclear conflict and defined the dynamics of the East-West rivalry. One of the most iconic symbols of the Cold War was the Berlin Wall, erected by East Germany in 1961 to stem the tide of defections to the West. The wall stood as a physical manifestation of the division between communism and capitalism, separating families and communities for nearly 3 decades. In October 1962, the world held its breath as the United States and the Soviet Union stood on the brink of nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The discovery of Soviet missile installations in Cuba brought the two superpowers to the edge of confrontation, with tensions escalating until a last-minute diplomatic resolution averted disaster. The Korean War, often referred to as a proxy war between the United States and the Soviet Union, served as another flashpoint in the Cold War struggle for influence. The conflict, which began in 1950 and ended in an uneasy stalemate 3 years later, highlighted the global dimensions of the East-West rivalry and the human cost of ideological confrontation. The Cold War era was characterized by not only ideological confrontation, but also by an intense arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union, as both superpowers sought to outmatch each other in military might and technological prowess. The development and proliferation of nuclear weapons became a central feature of the Cold War landscape, as both sides amassed arsenals capable of catastrophic destruction. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction, MAD, emerged, wherein the possession of enough nuclear firepower to retaliate ensured a precarious balance of power and deterrence. Concurrent with the arms race was the space race, a competition for supremacy in space exploration and technology. The launch of the Soviet satellite Sputnik in 1957 stunned the world and marked the beginning of a new frontier in the Cold War rivalry. The United States responded with its own ambitious space program, culminating in the historic Apollo 11 mission in 1969, when astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to set foot on the moon. The space race showcased not only technological prowess, but also served as a symbol of ideological superiority and national prestige. The Cold War was more than just a geopolitical struggle between superpowers. It permeated every aspect of global politics and culture, leaving an indelible mark on societies around the world. In the United States, the Cold War provided a backdrop for the civil rights movement, as African Americans and their allies fought for equality and justice in the face of discrimination and segregation. The struggle for civil rights became intertwined with the broader struggle against communism, with the US government seeking to portray itself as a defender of democracy and human rights on the world stage. Similarly, in Africa and Asia, the Cold War fueled movements for decolonization and self-determination, as newly independent nations sought to assert their sovereignty and chart their own destinies. The superpowers competed for influence in these regions, often backing rival factions and exacerbating existing conflicts for their own strategic interests. The cultural landscape of the Cold War reflected the anxieties and aspirations of the times, with themes of espionage, betrayal, and existential dread permeating literature, film, and music. From the spy novels of John le Carré to the films of Alfred Hitchcock, the Cold War provided fertile ground for artistic expression and exploration. As the Cold War drew to a close in the early 1990s, the world witnessed seismic shifts in the geopolitical landscape, marking the end of an era defined by ideological confrontation and superpower rivalry. The legacy of the Cold War continues to shape international relations to this day, influencing alliances, conflicts, and global dynamics. The end of the Cold War ushered in a new era of globalization and interconnectedness, but also brought new challenges and uncertainties. While the collapse of the Soviet Union marked the end of the Cold War era, its aftermath has been marked by both progress and setbacks. Nuclear disarmament treaties have reduced the threat of global annihilation, but regional conflicts and humanitarian crises persist, underscoring the enduring complexities of international politics. The lessons learned from the Cold War are more relevant than ever in today's interconnected world. Diplomacy, cooperation, and dialogue remain essential tools for navigating complex geopolitical issues and safeguarding global peace and security. As we come to the end of our exploration of the Cold War, we're reminded that history is not just a series of events confined to the past, but a living legacy that continues to shape our present and future. The Cold War was a period of immense complexity, marked by tension, conflict, and the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. Yet, amidst the darkness, there were moments of courage, resilience, and hope. By understanding the causes, events, and consequences of the Cold War, we gain valuable insights into the complexities of international relations, the power of ideology, and the human capacity for both cooperation and conflict. From the Berlin Wall to the Cuban Missile Crisis, from the arms race to the space race, the Cold War left an indelible mark on the world, shaping politics, culture, and society in ways that continue to resonate today's day. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating explorations of history, politics, and culture. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the comments below. What other topics would you like us to delve into in future videos? Until next time, thank you for joining us on this journey through the annals of history. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep exploring the world around you.